Hello. Once again I come before you as a representative of the Illuminati. You may call me the Man. Well, this week's topic comes to us from the dark corners of the internet. Ooh, where all conspiracies are created and grow and thrive. This one actually is a rather strange conspiracy that Melania Trump, the First Lady of the United States, has a double. And we are often seeing her instead of the real Melania. And I know there's some people out there. I know you guys, you watch it. I know, I can hear it. Hey, the Man, why are you wasting our time with such an obvious fake of a conspiracy? Why? We want facts. We want to know what's really going on. We don't want this conspiracy stuff. We hate these little stories or whatever. Yes, I get it. I just came on to say, you're right. There's only one Melania. There's no double. Don't worry about it. Everything's good. Video is over. I'll see you next week. That was easy. Relax, breathe deeply. Okay, I think they're gone. Alright, so for you guys who are left, who really want to know what's going on, I was kind of telling the truth. There actually aren't two Melanias. There are 6. Yeah, and they're not exactly human. Remember that video a long time ago where I kind of told you what was going on with the JFK assassination? How Jackie was a shape-shifting alien. That Jackie, not the real Jackie, but that Jackie was a shape-shifting alien, and she had replaced the president with an android, and then we assassinated the android just as a message for Jackie because we couldn't touch Jackie since she was protected by a treaty, and we would have started an intergalactic war, which we did not have the means to fight. And so she got the message, she moved on. You remember all that? I'm not even sure what video it is anymore, but, you know, basic great moments in Illuminati history, right? And of course, JFK retired to a tropical island. We had a lot of fun, and along with Elvis, those were good times. But anyway, so the android, yeah, that's the point I was making. The android, we took possession of the android, and then we took it apart, and we learned a lot of stuff. We put it back together. We made our own kind of androids, and some of them turned out pretty well. They really did, and so that's kind of what's going on with Melania. And I'll get into why later, but we had to make duplicates, lots of them, and there's reasons why we had 6. Okay, one of them is battery power. We don't have those excellent batteries that the Anunnaki have. They never deigned to give us these batteries, even though they promise some stuff from time to time, and they just never follow through. But anyway, yeah, so it takes a while to charge these things, right? Because human beings are always moving, they're always shifting, they're keeping their balance, they're moving their heads, they're talking to people, they're messing with their ties, they're doing all kinds of stuff. And that's what we do as human beings. And of course, we're kind of self-powered because of all the things that we eat and break it down. Well, with batteries, you know, you run out of battery power pretty quick, and then it takes a while to build it back up again. So, yeah, that's one of the things. And the second thing is that we can do this part pretty easy, right? The part that looks like us. I mean, because really all it is kind of like a fleshy exterior and a robot in. Well, Terminator, yeah, you've seen the Terminators, right? Well, the Schwarzenegger models, they're the robots covered in skin, right? So they're mimicking human beings. Well, it's kind of like that, except instead of a robot part, the interior is kind of squishy. It's organic machinery. It's like soupy, plasticky. It's disgusting is what it is. It's really disgusting. And anyway, so we can manufacture that pretty well. And of course, we take the genetic component from the original donor, and then we grow a skin, and we cover it in a skin, and it looks like us. The problem is this, you know, the brain, it's kind of hard to replicate. You remember the Zuckerberg testimony, had that android. Well, he built that android, okay? And so that kind of shows you how hard it is. I mean, if anybody can come up with one that has a personality, it would be Mark Zuckerberg. But obviously that android had no personality at all. Nobody even believed it was human. It just sat there and it was all blank. And, you know, that's just the way it was. But we needed something as the First Lady of the United States, or to replace the First Lady. It had to interact with people. It had to seem human. And in order to do that, you can't just use like personality charts. You can't use these certain algorithms. You have to create a blend of things. And when that happens, there are certain quirks that pop up. So that's why we made 6. Happy, sleepy, sneezy, aggressive, dopey, and Doc. Now, Happy, that's obvious. Well, the first thing we went to was, hey, yeah, we need one that's going to be friendly. And, you know, Happy is very friendly. She smiles a lot. You can see her from a distance. She's smiling. She's talking to people. She's shaking hands. She's having a good time. But if you spend more than 5 minutes with her, you go, I don't think she's human. I just don't. She's just too happy. And people are just not that happy. Could be something wrong with her. Is she on medication? What's going on? And that starts rumors. And so anyway, well, we pull Happy in and out of rotation, right? I mean, we kind of balance her out with the rest of them. Sleepy, the battery thing I was telling you about, the power doesn't quite work all the time. So it just kind of comes and it goes and comes and goes. Still useful though. If you see a shot of Melania on an airplane or something, got her head next to the window or whatever like that, well, that's probably Sleepy. Okay. Sneezy. Sneezy's weird. It's out of all of them, she's the weirdest because even Laney, our tech guy, he couldn't figure out how she turned out the way she did. It's like she has allergies, but there's no nasal cavity in there. It's machinery, plastic goopy machinery, but it's machinery. So she can't be allergic to anything. She just sneezes like randomly, like, pshoo! And it's cute, but you know. After a couple of minutes of that, it gets old real quick. I mean, it's cute at first, but you can't have her shaking hands with a Saudi prince or something like that, pretending to be human, and she's sneezing all the time. Some people take offense to that. They think that maybe something wrong with them, their dress or their cologne or whatever. And if you've met a Saudi prince, you know that's a lot of cologne. But yeah, so it's just we can't use her in rotation a lot, but she's good from a distance, and she's good when she's not sneezing, which is not as frequent as we want. Anyway, aggressive. We couldn't really do a bashful, could we? She's the First Lady of the United States. So we tuned that personality a little more to aggressive. And she came out aggressive. And it was like, whoa. Oddly enough, Donnie's favorite. And I don't want to know what they do together. But the noises that come out of the White House, it's just... anyway, so we don't let her talk to people. Let's just put it that way. And then, of course, you've got Dopey. See, now, a lot of the processing didn't quite work out very well with Dopey, and she has a tendency to say things, and you're like, what? If you've ever seen Melania talk, reporters ask her questions, and you just sit there and went, huh? That's Dopey. That's the Dopey one. And yeah, she's great with people. She's very friendly. She's outgoing. She's very inspiring. You're the best person out there. Everything's great. She's really good at giving speeches. She's not so good at answering the questions, and not a lot of like quick on their feet kind of stuff. So, and then of course the last one is Doc. Now Doc is everything that Dopey is not. Doc is the epitome of perfection when it comes to Melania Trump. She is sharp. She is right there on with an answer. She can like figure out things immediately. Her improvisation skills are fantastic. She doesn't need a speech. She is perfect. She was perfect. She is also missing because she's smart enough to know that she didn't want anything to do with any of our political system at all. She just disappeared. She's just right off. We had a tracker in her. We still can't find her. We tracked her down to Boise, Idaho, and then she just vanished. I mean, I don't even know. She's outwitted the Illuminati. How does she keep her energy going? Where's the battery? I don't know. I would love to ask her. If you see her, if you live in Idaho and you see someone who looks like Melania, oh, she's not still in Idaho. She's probably somewhere in Hawaii or something. No, she's smart. She might be in Idaho. Idaho is an excellent place. Yeah. She might, cold most of the winter though. Very, very, she might still be there. If you see someone who looks like Melania, have her give us a call. She's got our number. Just say, the man would like to talk to you. He has some questions. Anyway, so she's gone. And so we use the others in rotation to make a Melania. Now, the real Melania's fine. She's in Monte Carlo doing what rich people do. I don't know, eating gold. I don't know what they do. Anyway, she's over there doing that, spending time on yachts, staying out of sight. That's what she's doing. And Barron is fine too. And the reason we did all of this, because as you know, if you've watched the channel for a while, you know the president is home to, or host to, an alien, hairy, kind of creature that he houses on his head. And then, of course, there was the accident there at Mar-a-Lago with the golf ball, and you know, he's not quite right. And we're not going to put a woman and a child in a place where, you know, you've got an unstable, large person who could fly off the rails, you know, and we move them out. We move in people or things that look like people so that, you know, nobody gets hurt. Everything's fine. And still the wheels of government keep going. The political system keeps moving forward. No one is any the wiser. And it works. And it works great. And you know, there's good news on the horizon. You see, one of the other things we're trying to do is trying to avoid an impeachment, okay? We just don't want one, right? I mean, if you thought the Mueller investigation was $23 million or something, you thought that was expensive. Impeachment, a lot worse. Plus, it kind of makes us look bad, like we don't know what we're doing, we're not in charge. And I know we are not in charge of everything because there's just some things you can't control. We in the Illuminati know that. Matter of fact, you guys probably think we control a lot more than we think we control. We control as much as you can control, but there's a lot of stuff out there you can't. I mean, there's 7 billion people on the planet. There are random events happening all the time. We have to respond, sometimes in the short term, sometimes in the long term, because, you know, we're playing a long-term game, right? Trying to bring humanity to a kinder, more gentle future, take our place amongst the stars. That's the end goal. Well, things happen, and you have to react. And this is one of the things that happened, and we had to react. And so that's what we're doing. We're trying to avoid the impeachment because we don't want to, like, seem like we don't really know what we're doing. Plus, it's very, very expensive. I mean, the whole thing with Richard Nixon, that was a drop in the bucket. The whole thing, Clinton, drop in the bucket. Johnson, Andrew Johnson, remember when he got impeached? Remember? No? Not big fans of history. Anyway, yeah, drop in the bucket. It's not really that expensive back then. It's expensive now. We're talking legal fees, we're talking broadcasting, we're talking the whole 9 yards. Everybody wants their time on it. It's just, it takes so much out of, it's just a mess. So we're trying to avoid that altogether. And there are signs of hope. Like the other day, I was in the White House, and Donald was talking, and he was, you know, ranting about a wall. Now, when the Donald in close quarters just lets that alien just talk, right, and just lets it go, and the brain damage part of him, when he rants, it sounds like wall, wall, and it's just over and over again, wall, right? Well, right in the middle of that, one day, he just stopped, and he went, what am I talking about? That doesn't make any sense at all. And then we're like, hey, Donnie, you okay? Donnie, are you back? And he went, wall, and it was just, we thought we had him. However, that's progress. That's progress. Hopefully, any time now, he's going to snap out of it. The healing will happen. We're keeping an eye on it, you know. We're keeping an eye on it, and you know, he's still doing the job, or we're actually making sure the job happens in spite of him many times. And he's still fulfilling the point that we wanted him in history, and that is, of course, to warn people through a demonstration of how populism can overwhelm you, how people who are promising everything's going to be okay without having the facts to back it up are a danger to you. If it sounds okay to you, that you don't want to even look into it because obviously it's right, it may not be. And you have to be aware of your own bias. How you think is not exactly reality. It's how you have processed things. And if it all sounds really good to you, maybe it's a good idea to stop and go, why does this sound good to me? What are alternatives? What is wrong with this plan? If I was somebody else, would I believe this? If Barack Obama said this, would it be acceptable? If he did this, would it be acceptable? You know. Or if you're an Obama fan, if George W. Bush said this, would it be acceptable? If George W. Bush killed these people with a drone, would that be acceptable? Things like that. You know, you got to blend everything together. And if your enemy doing it makes what it happens seem distasteful, then maybe it's not the right thing to do. That's called critical thinking. You know, you're supposed to criticize what's going on. And we all do it. I mean, we in the Illuminati have done many decades on bias. And I'm really going far afield. I just thought I'd throw that in. Just, you know, see if your worst enemy said that or did that, or someone who's politically opposed from you said or did something. Would you accept it? If the answer is no, then you probably shouldn't accept it from the people who are doing it that you agree with. But that's got nothing here to do with the Melania situation, and we still have hope on the Trump side. So anyway, that's what's going on. I just wanted you guys to know about it because, you know, we're looking out for you guys. We really are. And yeah, like I said, sometimes it's short term, sometimes it's a long term game. Sometimes we can do something about it immediately. Sometimes we have to wait a while. But we're all moving forward. We're moving forward to that brighter future. We in the Illuminati believe that. And we can ask you for your help. One of the things you can do is you can leave a comment down in the comment section below. Tell us what you think of the video, what you'd like to hear from. We've gotten some really good ideas in the past few months, but there's certain things we have to kind of like redact, you know, because we're still using those things to do other things, and we don't want to ruin it by taking the curtain away, you know. We'll release that information as soon as we can. Just like, you know, Attorney General Barr or whatever, the Mueller report. Yeah, as soon as we can, we'll get you that information. But if you have other questions, I mean, I'm sure there's something that's been bugging you. Just put it down there in the comment section below. Even asking the question might make you feel better if something's bugging you that bad. And another thing you can do is, you know, when you walk outside your house, your apartment, your tent, wherever you happen to dwell, and you look up there in the sky and you see those chemtrails blazing up there, why, we in the Illuminati would just suggest that you relax and breathe deeply.